Today's finally the day. I didn't think I'd get here so soon. Hey now, Delta. Relax. Everything's gone according to plan, and all the evidence has been taken. Everything is fine. Things are gonna go well. Besides, we have your friend here to thank for that. Please. Me and my men have had very little to no involvement whatsoever. I wouldn't go thanking me for the very little amount of help we've given. All we did was get any surveillance footage that was kept from your wife's company from the last 4 years, since the police force wouldn't budge. Yeah, you think when so much evidence has been gathered, do you think they just give it up because they just made things worse on themselves? Because weren't those two a part of the guilty party, Delta? Yeah, though they have the less amount of charges, but it's still quite a lot compared to the mass majority of Citadel. Shouldn't we get on our way? It's almost about that time, isn't it? Yes, it is almost about that time. We really should. And thank you, Mr. Tower, Calzon Tower, or General Tower, whatever you prefer. or you could just go with my name, and that being Calzon. Don't even start with that, Delta. I'm helping you out this far. Don't make me regret it. Right. Should we get going, Jacob? Yes, we should. Both Jacob and Delta stand up and walk outside of the meeting room. As they walk out, they notice a few guilty party citizens standing outside. Delta just stares and turns their back on them and walks towards the courtroom, with Jacob in tow. As both Delta and Jacob walk in, they head towards their places. Following soon after, the defendant of Citadel walks in, a member of the guilty party, who also takes their place. As the judge arrives and takes his seat, she slams down her mallet and thus beginning the final trial. As 3 hours go by, a mountain of media waits outside of the city hall, waiting to see who comes out of this case winning. As a few seconds go by, Delta and Jacob walk out. Delta, noticing all of the media, closes his eyes and chuckles to himself for a little bit as he walks down the steps. As the media try to lunge towards him, Delta spreads his wings and pushes all of them back. One at a time, please. You're not gonna get any progress from simply jumping at me all at once. Let's go with you. Delta makes a small opening and lets one of the media men walk towards him. Delta, what is the result of the case? Is Citadel going to pay for their actions, or will you be shunned and outcasted? Did you really just say that? Did people actually, aside from the guilty party, did people actually think I was going to lose this case? If that's not an answer, then I'll sum up the results, and simply 5 words? Yeah, 5 words. I'll sum it up. I'll sum up the result of the case in 5 words. Citadel City, I beat you! Delta leaps up high in the air and rockets off. All the cameras point towards Delta, but are unable to keep up with him. I think it'd be best to let Delta go on his little celebratory entourage. This is a big day for him, after all. Now, if you do have any questions, and I mean any questions at all, please feel free to ask me. I'll answer as many of them as possible. I will note that some of the information of the final judgment will be kept under wraps for the time being, until the final product ensues. The medias gather around Jacob and start asking him questions. He answers one at a time. As time goes by, we enter November, where Delta is scheduled to appear on a talk show. Now I'll allow you to welcome my today's guest, the famous Delta Hunter. As Delta walks on stage, the crowd applauds for him. Thank you. You're all too kind. Delta, please, have a seat. It's such a pleasure to have you here. Please, the pleasure is all mine. I have been busy, so a seat is very appreciated. And the chair is quite comfy, too. Thank you. Now, Delta, I assume you know that there is a mountain of questions that I must ask you. But first of which, what is happening to Citadel, as well as the outer districts of Citadel? North, South, East, and West have all new apartment complexes are being built on, and Citadel is a giant wall surrounding it. Please, if you have any information that you could that you could give to us, please go on. Where to begin? Well, I don't think it's that much of I don't think it's that troubling. Okay, well, as to what's going on the outer districts of Citadel, apartment complexes, which I am calling Citadel Outposts, are being built to move the innocent party out of Citadel. Now, why are they being moved out of that? Well, it's quite simple. Citadel, this is simply the consequences of their actions. They wanted to treat me like a criminal and make me feel like a criminal in my own town. So, I'll do the same to them. Make them feel like prisoners in their own hometown. But instead of metaphorically, quite literally. With my help, construction workers have built upon a massive wall that is surrounding Citadel, leaving my house, mind you, out of it. Since my house is near the outskirts of Citadel, that is still my house, and I can go there anytime. Though I am being moved to one of the outer districts of Citadel, because at the end of the day, aside from me being, a literal superhuman, I am still a student, and I was still a student at Citadel High. So, of course, thanks to my now agreement with the government, they decided to help me move to one of the outer districts of Citadel. Since Citadel is still my home, with a few dark memories, I still do care about it. All the citizens are going to be kept there for the time being. And what of the young ones, the kids, the babies? What about all of them? I'm glad you asked. A minor sub-district was created for them, for their that way, for their schooling area as well as for all the infants. Oddly, only a few it was only a few nurses that were a part of the guilty party, easily replaceable. And the jobs that the innocent party had to move away from will be replaced with members of the guilty party will be filling in those places. So Citadel can still function as well as it can. The children will remain in sub-districts for the time being until and are being are under foster care. So they will be getting new homes. Though, if they so choose to, they can live with their parents. I will not separate them if they wish to avoid it. And as for the infants, when they reach a certain age, they will choose as well. So, is there anything else you would like to ask me? Who was this mysterious person on? Record shows her name is Caroline, but she doesn't appear to have a last name. Yes, looking back, it was quite odd that in the time she was a student in Citadel Junior High, her last name was never mentioned. It was like that. It was like that piece of our mind, of not just my mind, but all of Citadel. That piece of memory was just taken away. Or maybe she already had influence all over Citadel, resulting in the fact that she never needed her last name in the first place. We can speculate all we want, but nothing will come of it. Now, as for who she is, weirdly enough, she is my ex-girlfriend. Why she's after me and why she's back in my life now is a complete and utter mystery to me. All I can really say is, well, she's the one who's caused all of this, but I don't wish to divulge in too much detail. Is something wrong, Delta? No. It's quite all right. Do you have anything else to ask me? Well, what is it like? What is it like having all that power, all that strength? Yes. It's quite an odd feeling for sure, using my powers. I can do so much with it. Yet, I don't know very much about it at all. Delta generates a small flame in his hand and carefully glances at it, dispersing the flame instantly. My powers are a mystery to me, and they're a mystery to everyone else around the world. I've done what I can to learn as much about them as I can, though not much success in that regard. An hour goes by as the talk show host and Delta chat amongst each other, asking questions about his powers and about himself. Well, as much as I would like to keep talking and letting the world know who you are, I think it's about time. Our show is about to run out of time, so I think it's about time we finish this up, shall we? Yeah, I think it would be best to do so. If that's the case, please excuse me. It was such a pleasure to be on the show. I hopefully will be able to come back on another time. But until then, farewell. Delta stands up from the chair and walks off stage. Well, that is going to be our show for today. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to tune in next week. And hopefully we'll have just as an interesting guest as Delta. With that being said, see you next week, and goodbye. Delta walks off stage and offset. Okay, Shard, what the hell was that about early on? About what? The moment Caroline was brought up, you suddenly told me to not talk about her at all. What was that about? Are you... What? Why would I need to hide anything about her? All of Citadel knows what she is. Why shouldn't the world? Delta, believe me when I say that you don't want to say things you might come to regret later. What would I regret saying about Caroline? After everything she's done to me, are you trying to defend her? I am not trying to defend her at all. I am simply You're gonna say protect, aren't you? No. Shard, you're hiding something from me. What is it? Is she nearby? Was she watching? And if so, how could you tell? I am not hiding anything. I have no idea what you're talking about. Let's just go home. You have school tomorrow. No. All you've asked me is to be a warrior. Now all of a sudden you ask me to be a student? Anytime I brought up school stuff, you've always brushed it off. Why now? Shard, you're hiding something from me, and I want answers. Delta spreads his wings and takes off towards Citadel South. Towards the apartment he was chosen at the Citadel Outpost. What is it? What valuable piece of information could you have about Caroline that wouldn't be important to tell me? Delta, I have no idea what you're talking about. Look, I wasn't defending Caroline and I'm not protecting her. I'm just advising you to watch what you say about this whole situation. You might come to say something you will regret. And I know you'll say there's nothing to regret saying about her, but trust me. In time you'll learn what I mean. I don't know what you're on about, Shard, but I don't like it. If you want me to be a student so badly, fine. Let's forget we had this little conversation. Good. You have school tomorrow. Don't start with me with that. Delta flies off and arrives at the Citadel South Outpost. As he walks up toward his new home, he looks back at down the road, looking at all the apartments. Is this really the right move to make? Would it have been better to let all the teens and adults go to their respective... No. This is better. This is the best for them. This is the lightest I can do to them. Delta opens up his apartment and notices all the stuff from the moving company that has arrived. Well, looks like they got here in time. I think it'd be best to get my school stuff out. Delta slowly starts unpacking all of his school supplies and as well as his bag and a few fresh clothes. That way he can take a shower. Man, what do I do? And I have so much stuff on my plate. I have to look for Caroline. I have to get adjusted to the new school life. I have to catch up with Claire, and I have to figure out who she is. Figure out where she is, because it's been years since I've seen her. She might have completely changed her look since I saw her. Okay. No. It's not good to think like that. Alright. I made a promise to my brothers, even if they are alive now. I made a promise that I'd venture. Delta walks upstairs and starts unpacking. As a few hours pass, it enters the midnight. Man, I really should get to bed. I got a lot of stuff to do tomorrow. Back to school. Back to school it is. Delta lies down and begins to rest. As the next phase of his journey slowly begins, he falls asleep and the night goes by in a flash.